Hi guys, so I know it's been a while since I've made a video, but WoW player housing is finally on the horizon, and since I got an opportunity to playtest it on the 11.27 PTR for a day, I was really inspired to make a video sharing my thoughts on it. So as a longtime WoW player and a Final Fantasy XIV housing enthusiast, this feature in WoW is something I've been dreaming about ever since I was a kid. And so I was really excited when it was finally announced for midnight. And I was even more excited when I found out that Blizzard was opening testing for the feature to literally everyone for a day. And needless to say, I got carried away for hours and I lost track of time while exploring the housing areas and decorating my own plot. In this video, I wanted to go over both the things that I adored about player housing and the things I thought could use a slight improvement, as well as my own personal wish list for features I didn't see in the specific playtest but that I hope are in the works or get added in the future. Starting off, as I'm sure most of you housing enjoyers have already seen, the neighborhoods are absolutely amazing and they're quite expansive. Both zones have their own character and numerous areas that are full of special sights. The Alliance area is beautiful with a lot of ambiance and cozy vibes wherever you turn, and the Horde area is very lush and has a lot of verticality all throughout. The Alliance neighborhood, I will admit, is by far my favorite, but for those of you who love to live the Horde aesthetics, I promise that you will not be disappointed. Unless you wanted a Blood Elf theme zone, but hey, Azara is kind of close, right? I also appreciate that neighborhood NPCs got interesting details as well. Sometimes they will talk to you by making comments about things such as moving into your plot or even being a member of the opposite faction. NPCs will also take the weather into account by using umbrellas if it's raining or walk around with lanterns at night. And if you live near a dock, you may encounter NPCs coming over for a visit just to fish near your home. Overall, I can really tell how much love Blizzard put into making neighborhoods as detailed as possible. If you're wondering how to establish your home, then don't worry. Once you get into a neighborhood by entering the respective portal of your faction's main city, finding a plot is pretty easy. If you open your map, you can see icons where each plot is located. Home icons that are solid gold denote where an open plot is, whereas brown icons with a little person inside show plots that are already owned by a player. And if you hover those icons, you can see who owns the specific plot. If the plot that you wanted is taken, you can go to the housing dashboard and open up the house finder to search through different neighborhoods. On the house finder map, open plots are shown with a little sign icon, and you can visit open plots simply with the click of a button. If you buy a plot and forget where you live, your map will have a separate icon for houses owned by you to help you navigate the neighborhood easier. You are also able to hurt directly to your own plots as well. I chose Plot Zero in the Alliance neighborhood, which is situated right on the outskirts of the more Duskwood theme zone. I love the mystical vibes of this little neighborhood because it has tons of mushrooms, fireflies, and string lights all around. This plot also comes featured with its own dock that lets you enjoy the waterfront as well. Customizing the outside of your home is super easy through the barbershop interface, and you can make your house look very unique. I personally decided to go for a more simple concept, and I wanted to fit the more mystical vibe of the housing area I chose, so I opted for a purple roof, whimsical round windows, and tons of plants everywhere. When I first started customizing the exterior, I was a little disappointed that I could not move the windows where I wanted them, as I personally felt the default window placement to be awkward. However, it was something I was able to get used to and offset the more that I decorated the actual plot itself. I also want to note here that you can put your front door on any side of your home that you wish, as well as move and rotate your home to be anywhere on your plot. I opted to put my home closer to the dock to make it feel more like my own. Decorating itself was pretty easy, and I loved all of the tools provided, especially the resizing feature, which I used to make my flowers bigger to fit my whimsical theme. Something that comes as a huge relief to me as a Final Fantasy XIV player is being able to clip and combine items as freely as I wanted to make my own creations. For my home, I combined elven dressers and a rugged fireplace to make an elven fireplace. I also combined plants with baskets to make potted flowers both inside and outside of my home. While using the housing tools was mostly easy, there are a few things I found that I had to get used to when decorating. For example, the grid on my house's plot was situated on an angle, which did make things awkward when I wanted to move and raise items to a specific spot with the help of the arrows rather than use the free move feature. Another thing that I would point out is that the cornerstones you use to buy your plot cannot be moved, which I didn't mind personally as they aren't really on your plot, but I thought it'd be good to note in this video. On the inside, the biggest con that I found while decorating is that it is tedious to have to click every wall and surface individually to change its theme. However, I appreciate the ability to make my floor plan as elaborate or as simple as I want it. When it comes to tools I would really like to see in the future, my two biggest wishes are an undo button, and for the outside specifically, a more defined border of my plot when decorating, though that isn't like a huge gripe to be honest. I would also like to say that during this PTR playtest, we had a good selection of easily obtainable items to experiment with. Each neighborhood has vendors with a variety of items that fit different racial themes, such as human, elf, and orc. If you want furniture from the other faction's neighborhood, you can either find NPCs located remotely within your own neighborhood or simply visit the neighborhood of the other faction. Items are also account wide, so adding items to your catalog on one character puts it into your decor storage to be used on any character. In addition to neighborhood vendors, on the PTR, we were also able to obtain items from reputation vendors, even vanilla city reputations like Stormwind. Furniture from some rep vendors, such as these cute string lights from the vendor in Borealis, will have to be bought with expansion-specific currencies like war resources. So, long story short, it's time to get to grinding those old reps and world quests again if you've been slacking. Adding housing items to your catalog from your character's bags seems to grant you EXP to increase your housing level. Gaining housing levels will increase your furniture limit on both the inside and outside the more you level up. Here, it is important to note that each furniture item has its own value of furniture slots it will take up. For example, using imaginary numbers, a tree may take up 5 out of 10 placements on your plot, whereas a flower may only take 1. Housing levels will also increase your fixture slots for exterior features such as chimneys, towers, and dormers, as well as your room placement budget for the inside of your home. It didn't seem like I was able to actually increase my level on the PTR, but to upgrade your home when leveling up, I think you talk to the general contractor NPC located in your neighborhood. Overall, while I do have tiny gripes here and there with player housing, this is by far the best housing system I've experienced in a game. Housing in WoW is very easy to get into and the tools are very easy to use. And for the neighborhood, I just have to reiterate that the vibes are immaculate. As it said at the beginning of the video, I spent hours and hours playing around with this feature and decorating my temporary PTR home. And when this feature fully launches in what I think should be December, I don't think anyone will ever hear from me again because I will be so hyper fixated on it. I hope I was able to do a good job in this video of showcasing what the PTR housing had to offer, and if you like this video and want to see more like this, or if you have any question regarding player housing, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching guys, catch you next time.